Antiques and Learning to Live. I'm Alex. Glad to have you back. So, one of the things in the last video that caught a lot of attention was this particular fan that I leave running up here almost all the time. Now, yes, the color of the fan makes it well above average in the way it looks. You know, most antique fans, gloss black, brass, whatever. So, when I started with this one, it was a parts fan. It was literally just completely trashed. Even had a small motor tag and a flip-top oiler. So it was probably a 1916 or 17 version of a 19646. But the 16 through 18 had the same thing as the 14 and 15. So on this one, I took the rotor in and had it bored and sleeved to fit the drive shaft perfectly. On this one, I bought a rewound stator from Sidney Lamb. He passed away not too long ago, so that's very sad. He was probably the best motor winder in the entire fan community. I can wind simple motors, but when I needed something with, this is going to be a 4-pole, so it's going to have 8 field windings, 4 for run, 4 for start, and their phase shift. So, this is Emerson model 19646, and on this I left the motor tag that I found for it with the original finish and clear coated it because it was so nice looking. And all the brass on here has been clear coated, so I won't have to polish this. It's got a little bit of dust on it, no big deal. So when getting this to the point where it was basically a 1914 model in appearance, I sourced this twist oiler, which you turn it and you find the opening and you put your small oiler in there and put your oil in and turn it back so it's sealed. Tony Clayton made this super soft wire for it, and these brass feet caps right here, they're rubber on the bottom, as you can see, but these came off of a broken easel I found on the side of the road. And there's a couple of things that you wouldn't see on an Emerson of this antiquity. So on here, instead of the double acorn nuts, I put large custom brass acorn nuts. This fan would have normally had brass struts, but I didn't have a set at the time. I have them now, but honestly, when I tried the brass, I didn't like it as much as the ones that I painted to match the fan. I think there was brass, brass, and brass. So with the blade hub being antique white, and the struts being antique white, I think it ties it in a lot better. So, another feature on this one, of course, instead of the black Emerson screw-in grommets, these you can order from the Lamp Parts website, and they have little rubber inserts, so the wires are protected. And this brass screw back here, you loosen it, that's what pivots it. Now, if you take that bolt or that screw out, you can take the pin of the yoke, set it inside of there, and put that screw into the top, and then you can have a wall mount Emerson. That's how these mounted from 1906 onwards. Before that, you had to have a special bracket. So, as you can see, it's got a cast iron blade hub. This set of blades was made by Jerry Bravi because this fan did not have a set of blades on it that was worth saving. I've since cut the brass for another project, but he made the entire set. The cage, I replaced several wires and did the polishing on it, and bought a very nice condition badge, polished it to match. not super high polish, but it's reflective polish. So it's got a little tiny bit of cage patina, but it does have a clear coat on it, so it's going to stay this way. Another neat feature is the switch on the inside is one from a 24646. So instead of having a switch tongue that sticks out this far, which I don't find very attractive, even though my older ones I usually keep the correct switch bad on there, this one, it sticks out more than a fingertip length, so it's easy to work with. And if you look closely, you can see that the numbers are embossed and they've got gold on them, so nice and easy to read. So you have off and 3, 2, 1. Before a certain year, a lot of Emersons, particularly the swivel and trunnion, so that's your trunnion, and your swivel is that. So, like I said, this series starts on high, which is a little bit different. If you get the oscillating models from 1914 and later, they'll all start on low. So we'll go ahead and start it up. I'll try to point it off the camera. And it runs butter smooth, and you can set a quarter on the back of this thing. You can't even feel any vibration. It's just wonderful. But that's essentially because with all the rewinding, the new blade set, the rotor being sleeved, it really, aside from the outside parts being antique, the fan is in a state where it could be considered brand new, essentially. So I put about 45 hours of work, maybe more, and almost 800 in the parts fan, the cage, blades, the motor tag, the oiler, the switch, the grommets, and I've got a lot in this, but when I started the project, I said I'm going to build a fan that I'm going to 100% keep. This one's not going anywhere. So we could go ahead and put it on medium. It's got a nice medium. It's a good in between. And then you have low. And low is just smooth and even. And I've got this on a controller that drops it down to 110 volts, which is the native on this one, 110 volts, 60 cycles. It uses 63 watts on high, around 50 on medium, and about 38, 39 on low. So, I'll point it directly at the camera. Hopefully that's right at it. And we'll go to medium. You just gotta, I'm obsessed with the snap on a switch, so. And the coil that was wound for it has a lot more wraps than the original, so it's got tons of speed separation. I love it. A lot of Emersons of this vintage, you have to put them at 104 to 110 volts to even notice a speed difference because the resistances are just not there for a lot of speed difference from the original choke coils. We'll go to high. Now this one, having basically brand new everything, the spin down is not all that long. I have 12-inch Emersons that have a lot longer spin down, but anything over 15 seconds on a fully restored, well put together fan with no wear is going to be healthy to an extent if it doesn't just spin down and then stop and lock. And the way you can normally tell, it'll have about a 32nd to a 16th of an inch play forward and backwards. And if you do that, it feels smooth. You have enough oil in there. And these take a lot of drops of oil. So when you first do these, you got to put about 20 drops standard out of a small oil tin. You see it from the back. Get a little wind noise in my earpieces. So again, this is a Emerson 19646. These were made from 1914 to 1918. In 1916, they transitioned to a steel cage and a stamped blade hub sometime in late 17 or early 18. I'm not sure exactly. But the cast iron blade hubs, they can be a little more dangerous. Say if you had a drink, you sat it down and the blade hit it, it's going to break and throw the wing off and your fan is going to dance off the table. So in a way, the stamped blade hubs were an improvement because they would just bend and your fan would just be wobbly. So you had a chance to save the rest of the fan and just replace the blade. So cast iron hubs, you don't see a lot of original ones. And Jerry Bravi, he actually cast these blade hubs at home, which is just amazing to me. So this one has original wing bolts on the sides. They make reproductions, but the reproductions look a little bit weird. They come really coarse. You have to sand and polish them. So every screw in the entire fan is a brand new brass slotted screw. I like doing that for any of the more higher end restorations like this one. So we'll go ahead and we'll time this starting in about 1 second. Let's see what the spin down time is. I'm wearing a 1960s, they call it a Chronotron Electra, even though it's a manual wind, 1 joule movement, so that's pretty humorous. Our spin down time is 20 seconds. That's perfectly fine. If I've had this running for 5 or 6 hours, it's normally about 45 seconds, but it hasn't warmed up or anything like that. I just started it up for the day. I'm going to see if I can show you the switch in the bottom. So I have to do it this way. You can see that's been repainted. You can see the new choke coil, wire attachments. So that's pretty cool. Alright. Again, it's Emerson 19646. The 19 is the series, which is a swivel and trunnion, or trunnion and swivel. The 6 means 60 hertz, and the 60 cycle fan. So the 4 means 4 blades. And the last 6, you double that for the size of the blade set. So this is 12 inches. If it says 5, that's the only weird one because that'll be 9 inches. If you see a 19645, that's a 9-inch fan. But the other models, the 6 is a 12-inch, the 8 is a 16-inch. So if it says 19666, that'll be 6 wings and it'll have a big motor. So another video we're going to do is on the 11766, which looks like a 19666, the early version, but it was made 2 years before. We'll do a video on that at some point. But anyway, thank you for watching. Definitely one of my favorite fans, and I'm so glad other people are a fan of this fan that I'm a fan of. So, thanks again for watching. This has been Alex with Antiques and Learning to Live. Please leave any questions, comments, criticisms in the comments section. Always open to learning different ways to do videos, presentations, ideas, and still getting used to doing this, but this was a lot more comfortable than it was last time. So anyway, if you could please subscribe to the channel, I promise the videos will get better at some point. And just pay attention to the videos. We're going to do fans, clocks, paperweights, marbles, antique tools, vintage electrical testing equipment, old cameras, lighting. I mean, even weird stuff like these antique marble eggs inside of a piece of Fenton glass. Just weird things like that. And then maybe do something, you know, regarding opera glasses like this French made set at some point. So please subscribe, and I'll be looking forward to more videos at some point. And everybody have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good night. And I'll see you next time.